everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I got the car on the dyno. I got a baseline number pretty much the last time it's going to be ran NA before the blower goes on. And I also got my new valve covers in. I got the correct ones swapped out. I'm going to be painting them today and hopefully getting them on the car. I thought I was actually going to be doing the accessory drive today, but I'm just waiting on the reservoir for the power steering because I'm not sure which reservoir I want to run, because the kit actually doesn't come with one, so you're kind of on your own with that. But for now, we're just going to do the valve covers, and then towards the end of the video, I'll kind of explain what was going on with the dyno and what numbers it actually made. Because the last time I had it on there was around this time last year, and that was with everything was pretty much the same, except I had the 1 3/4 long tubes, and the only thing different now is I put the 1 7/8. And I just want to go over like how the numbers change and if the headers really affected it. All right, so here's everything I'm going to be using today. Got the valve covers, obviously, and my base coat, my primer, and my clear coat. As I spoke about in my last video, I did go ahead and order these a few weeks ago, but I made the mistake and when I ordered the tall version. The only difference being that aside from the stock height like these, the other ones are just a little bit taller. Mostly just to clear like aftermarket rockers. The big difference with using these valve covers, it's not a performance upgrade, it's really just for looks and a way to clean up the engine bay a little bit. But you can see in the diagram they give you, the stock ones use this kind of coil bracket here that goes along the top of the valve cover, and the coils mount to that. With these valve covers, you pretty much eliminate that bracket and the coils mount in the center of the valve cover, so it just looks a lot cleaner. And once again, it's just for looks, cleans up the engine bay, looks a little bit nicer. For my paint, I went ahead and had my blue mixed up. I got it from automotivetouchup.com. Got 2 cans just in case I want to go ahead and paint some other stuff. Primer, I'm using high heat Rust-Oleum. I went and ordered this on Amazon. I couldn't find anything in AutoZone, even though they do carry Rust-Oleum paint. Everything was just like kind of high heat exhaust paint or engine paint. There was no actual primer, so I had to go on Amazon to get the high heat primer. And then same thing, AutoZone does carry this, but I got this off Amazon. It's just gloss clear, high heat engine enamel. You can get these in different colors. They sell them in black, they sell them in red. You don't have to get them raw like this, but if you're looking to paint them yourself, you can save a little money. Just get them bare, pick up the paint, and you can paint them the way you want. So these things are pretty much prepped and ready to go. All I have to do is just wipe them down, make sure there's no oil on the surface, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and hit them with the primer. All right, so I'm all set up, ready to go. I went ahead and pulled out the Harbor Freight pop-up canopy. Only the best here on the LSX matte channel. Make this completely legit. Don't want anything falling in the paint. Pretty much the best it's going to get for painting outside. But I think I'm going to paint these one at a time. I'm just going to wipe them down with the wax and grease remover right now. And then I'll just prime each one at a time, just because my little painting stool here is kind of small and I want to be able to get into the sides no problem. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that one first. Alright, so the valve covers are clean. I saved you the pain of watching me wipe these things down and get into every little crack and crevice, but I can assure you they are clean and we are ready for the primer. I went ahead, read the instructions. All it says is to apply light coats within a few minutes of each other. So just lay it on, you know, light kind of powdery coats, and just keep going layer by layer until you get a really nice thick coat on there. You don't want to go too fast. You don't want to get too close and put the coat on too thick, because you will get runs, you will get fisheye. So just, you know, take it easy, light coats until you get a nice even covering on both the valve covers. I'm going to do these one at a time and then we'll get started on the base. Alright, so I got 2 light coats on one of the valve covers right now. And one thing I'm noticing that I couldn't really see before without the paint on here, there's a few little like sharp imperfections in the actual valve covers themselves. Like over here you can see there's, if you can even see that, there's a few little like jagged high spots just from the casting process. Same down here. On the camera it's probably picking up as like a light spot, but it's kind of like a sharp edge there. Same thing up here, there's like a line. But literally I just sprayed this like 2 minutes ago and this primer is already dry. So just to make these come out as nice as possible, I think I'm just going to come in here with a little bit of Scotch-Brite and just wipe these little like burrs down here, just to make it nice and smooth. So I'm going to grab either some really fine sandpaper or some Scotch-Brite and just go over these spots. Check the other one for the same thing before I go ahead and spray it, but no big deal. I'll just wipe it down then and we'll start priming again. Alright, so I got the sanding done. I just went ahead, sanded all the little burrs and high spots off of the edges here. There's a little bit on this side. Just used 1000 grit, got it nice and smooth. Cleaned it up with wax and grease remover again. Did the same with the other one. So now I'm going to go back to priming, get them both done, then we'll start spraying the base coat. Alright, so all the priming is finished. They came out absolutely great. That Rust-Oleum high heat primer is really great to work with. It goes on very easy. It dries extremely quick. It's been an hour now. That's how long they want you to wait before you put the base coat over. So I waited an hour, and now we're ready to go ahead and base coat this. So I'm just going to go ahead, shake up some of my blue here. Same thing as applying the primer. You know, just light coats, a few minutes apart until you get full coverage. And then once this dries, we would apply the clear. Alright, so the base coat is finished. The valve covers are blue. They look amazing. We're all ready now to go ahead and spray the clear coat. So I'm going to go ahead and put a few light coats of the high heat gloss clear. Let it sit a little bit, hit it with a few more coats, get a really nice glossy finish. And that'll be it. I'll probably wait a few days for these to dry, and then we'll go ahead and install them on the car. Alright guys, so the painting is pretty much finished. The only thing I did change was the clear coat. Now you saw me before, I was applying the clear with the rattle can high heat paint, but I actually went ahead and I didn't like the way it came out, pretty much because I used the same paint inside the engine bay, and you can see this is kind of, it's kind of a low gloss. It's supposed to be high gloss, but the way it actually dries, just because it's rattle can, it's more of like a low gloss finish, and that, I like the way that came out for the engine bay, just because you know, most cars, the engine bay isn't like the outside of the paint. It's just kind of like a low gloss finish. So I like the way that turned out. But for the valve covers, there was a lot of like orange peel, and it just, it looked really flat. It wasn't shiny. I didn't like the way it came out. What I went ahead and did was I just scuffed up the clear, sprayed this with the regular automotive clear out of the spray gun, and that comes out a lot better, a lot shinier. After that, I just wet sanded everything and then came in and polished it just to get it really nice and shiny and clear, and it really did come out great. I still have to do the other side. I have to just wet sand and polish. I have that one inside. You could just see how much better, not only the blue, but just the way the coils mount and the wiring. It looks so much cleaner without having that big bracket and all those connectors and wires just kind of bunched up on that. I did go ahead and film the ending of this video a few days ago after I actually finished spraying the clear, and then I did realize I didn't like the way it came out, so I went ahead and redid them. I didn't videotape that, so you are going to see the ending from a few days ago, but I am going to go over the stuff on the dyno sheet and what's to come with the blower, so let's jump to that. All right, guys, so the valve covers are all done. I apologize for the audio because I have to actually use my phone. For some reason, there's a problem with the GoPro. The video looks like crap. But I did want to go ahead and talk about the dyno results. Now, I had my car over at Tune Time Performance yesterday. That is where I have the tuning all done, and that's where the car is going to be going once the blower is finished. But I was there for like their spring open house, and I did a few runs on the dyno. I really wanted to just get a baseline before I went and put the blower on, just to see what it does NA one last time. Last year, I believe it made 350 at the wheels and around 323 torque, I want to say. I don't have my sheet, but I do have the sheet from this year, and it did drop a little bit. Now, these runs are a year apart, so I'm really kind of taking these with a grain of salt. I don't know how accurate it's going to be. This year it felt like it was a little warmer from last year. I don't know the exact temperature last year, but this time it put down 341 horsepower and 311 foot-pounds of torque. Now I'm pretty sure the torque number dropped because I believe it was around 320, maybe 323 last year, and I'm pretty sure it was 350 right on the nose for horsepower. So I could have lost some power with the 1 7/8 last year. The only thing I really changed are the headers. I went from the 3/4 last year to the 7/8 this year. Really can't say for sure if I lost it with the headers. I'm just using this as like a before and after as to where the number is now NA and then where it's going to be once the headers are actually installed. So this is a good baseline. I did 2 runs. You saw my first run at the beginning of the video, and then my second run, which I'm going to show you right now. Yeah, you can see there was quite a little bit of smoke there at the end, but that is my transmission seal leaking once again. I did go ahead and change the tail shaft housing. I thought it was the bushing inside. That didn't fix it. I changed the seal like 3 times. I pretty much narrowed it down to it either being the drive shaft is out of balance because it only starts leaking, and it's only like a little drip. It only starts leaking at about, once you get over maybe 100 miles an hour, you feel like a slight vibration in the car, and then it just kind of drips onto the exhaust, and that's what makes the smoke. So I'm pretty sure it's either the drive shaft or it's the fact that the drive shaft isn't sitting as far in the transmission as it was before. When I went LS, the engine and transmission seem to sit a little further forward, and the drive shaft isn't as far into the transmission as it was before. So I think it's a mix of that and the thing just being out of balance. You can't really see it here, but it was leaking yesterday onto the exhaust, as you saw in the video. But I am going to go ahead and order probably a Spawn Performance custom drive shaft. I'm just going to get the extreme duty. I think it's like 390 bucks. I am going to measure. I'm not going to do a stock replacement. I want to measure to get a little bit longer, just so I know that the length is perfect for this setup and I'm not going to have any problems. I do have my accessories going on soon. Literally, I have everything. The only thing I'm waiting for is a power steering reservoir. The kit doesn't come with one. I have to pick one out. I just want to make sure I have everything before I start pulling stuff off, because I do want to try to get this done in one day so I can have the car running and driving the same day, and I'll just have it sitting in the driveway waiting for parts. But I have the compressor, I have all the accessories, the water pump, the alternator, the power steering pump. Literally the only thing I have to do is figure out which power steering reservoir I'm going to use and what's going to fit my car, get that ordered, and then that's it. My next video, I'm hoping, is going to be the accessory drive. If not, it will be a walk around of me going through the interior, the cage, how I installed it, stuff like that. So one of those two are going to be coming at you soon enough. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.